Hare Two questions. One, I hadn't heard about parikrama before. Could you elaborate? In fact, there is two terms, parikrama and aparikrama. Parikrama is to understand the nature of the soul, to understand the relationship of the soul with the Supreme Being, BHAGAWAN. It is to live your life according to the precepts of parikrama. One who accepts and understands this, acknowledges, I am not this body. This material existence is all impermanent, including not only my body, but my family, my possessions, my achievements. Everything, samsara titi samsaraha, everything is in a state of change. And so is the wheel of birth and death. And the soul migrates from any form, be it the human form, into another form, plant, animal, bird life, celestial, lower regions. It is ignorance of the self, aparikrama. Ignorance, complete ignorance. Parikrama is complete understanding. And so we have, for our understanding, the stages of adharma, dharma, aparikrama, parikrama. Just as there are in most countries except here, seasons. You may have it in winter, I don't know, maybe a chilly 31. But you get the 4 seasons, and similarly, as you well, I'm sure know, there are the 4 yugas. Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, and Kali Yuga. What you may not be aware is that Satya Yuga, it is the age of piety, where dharma is the nature of the inhabitants of that time. There are 4 dharmas, all the virtues are in that yuga, and no adharma. And the Vedic philosophy explains that the lifespan of the residents of that age is 100,000 years. Prior to Satya Yuga, you have Treta Yuga. Here there are 3 dharmas at the beginning of this cycle, this age, and 1 adharma. Satya Yuga, 1,728,000 years in duration. Treta Yuga, 1,296,000 years in duration. And the residents of this 3 dharmas, 3 virtues, and the first adharma appears, the first vice. And the residents of this age live for 10,000 years. Prior to that, you come to Dwapara Yuga, 864,000 years in duration, and this has 2 virtues, 2 dharmas and 2 adharmas. And the residents live on average, not exact, give or take, just like here, 1,000 years. Now you come to Kali Yuga, the repository of all ill. You start with 1 dharma and 3 adharmas, 3 vices are present and 1 virtue. And right towards the end of the cycle is 4 adharmas and no dharma. So when we talk about adharma and dharma, we are talking about virtue and vice. I mentioned in the talk last night that adharma is chaos. I can remember Ghanshyam Paya, Maharaj's eldest son. He said to me, people talk about devotion, but they should learn to be human first. And so, in this age, it's very difficult. And adharma is chaos, and it is becoming obvious even to the dullest of minds. It's becoming obvious that the rule of law, of integrity, honesty, truthfulness, is being swamped by misinformation, by greed, and by jealousy, and by anger, and by pestilence, and by climate problems, and flooding, and all these things. We can see, we all feel that everything is out of harmony. And in families itself, a small nucleus of a family, mum, dad, 1, 2, 3 children, the respect that is given here in Singapore, I'm telling you, you're a cut above. Because law is enforced here. If you do that, you get the rotund. Cameras everywhere, small island, hey! So you have to behave yourself, then it becomes your nature. And you all, there's a peacefulness here, though you work very hard. But you go to countries like the United States, Australia, and so on, and you will see. Once I went, in the earlier days, I was in Adelaide, Australia, and you know, in those days, if you wanted to make a booklet, you had to go to a library, and then you had to take your printed copy and you had to have it photocopied, and then you had to get black tape and you had to run it down the stapled spine in order to make a booklet. Big job. And I would do that because I would say I've got a retreat coming up, and I would list all the different half days and the topics of the talks that you could expect and what you could expect to benefit from. Turn the page, this is day 2, and I did all that, I had it all prepared. But the point I'm making is, as I was sitting there in this library, it was shared by the local schools. So I'm sitting 2 tables away, and there's about 40 to 60 10, 12-year-old people, young people. I could not believe what I was hearing. The swear words. I've been around the block. I know them. And the way they addressed the teacher, and the swear words they said to the teacher, and the way they ran around like just absolutely out of control. And the only group that was sitting quietly and studiously doing the work in the library was the Asian community. The Caucasian element was history. I couldn't believe what I was watching. In other words, when we talk about our dharma in chaos, we are talking about the individual mind. No respect, no understanding. I'll do what I want, don't you tell me. No care for anything. Selfishness. And as I mentioned last night when I'm repeating the whole talk, dharma is the opposite. A dharmic mind is peaceful because they don't allow themselves to get drawn into anger. They don't allow themselves to walk around as if they are the best things since sliced bread. Arjuna had to face this. You all know the story. Arjuna, when told, you have to fight, he said, I can't. I don't want to take the life's blood of anybody. It's better that I die than take one drop of these people that I'm about to fight. And later on in the Mahabharata war, when Arjuna was told to release the arrow at Karnan, who was tending to the chariot wheel and his back was turned, let go the arrow, he said no, sit, quick. He said no. My integrity, my dharma will not allow me to do this. And he's coming at the end of the Dwaraka Yuga. 2 slices, 2 virtues. I mean, yes, vice versa. And he's saying, I can't do this. This is inhumane. This is against the laws of dharma. There is a code amongst Kshatriya, the warrior caste, of how we fight and the way that we fight and the respect we give to the opponents that we're fighting. Like this order, like at night you used to hear, and back in World War I, sometimes when the battles were over, as in it was nighttime, they would come and have a cup of tea with the enemy. And certainly you hear that in the Mahabharata. There was the community still communicated at the beginning of the Mahabharata. So Arjuna learned, okay, look, if you don't fight, you are a coward. You are adharmic. You will sink into the lower regions. You will be committing sin, pa. And there's a big discussion, backwards and forwards, you know the story. And what happens if I fight the war? Well, now you are in the realm of goodness. And what happens if I lose my life during the war? You will rise up into the celestial abodes because of your dharma. And what happens if I fight the war, win the war, still alive? You'll be restored to the ruling family. All will be given to you. You'll rule the kingdom. You'll have the respect of your community. You will have opulence. You will have wealth. All of these things you will have if you follow goodness. Now you know, Arjuna said, well, will I find that which I'm looking for, the supreme love? I've already been in that position. It's not all it's cracked up to be. And he questions about the celestial realm, and he learns you go for a period of time, and then you've got to go. Your merit is over. You've got to come back to the lower regions. So Arjuna, if you're going to fold your arms, it'd be a good time. This doesn't sound very good at all. He's learning about the wheel of birth and death and going to the celestial, like going to Club Med and having a holiday, and then you've got to leave, and then you get in the dog body, a plant body, you get sometimes a human body, and you go around and around and around and around and around and up and down, sattvic, rajas, tamas, lower region, higher region, middle region, mrityu loka. Where will I find that which I am looking for? And for the first time, parikrama enters. Now, the philosophy, the science, the dharma of the soul and its relationship with Bhagawan. That is why the word para comes into play. Para means supreme, nothing beyond. And he learns, you have no power to kill anybody. The soul is eternal. He learns about the power of thought and consequence. He learns from black to white, all the shades of what the mind can get up to, but he learns it binds you to Maya. It binds you, bandhaye, binds you. But paradharma liberates you. This is where you receive the grace of Shri Krishna and Radha, of Guru. And we, as Ghanshyam Maharaj Ji's eldest son said, first learn to be a human. We are so foolish. We think as long as nobody hears my thoughts, as nobody sees my deeds, I can do what I like. I can steal that person's motorbike. I can play around with the bank accounts and take away all their money. I can send these scam emails out and rob the old and infirm that don't understand these things. I can take their life savings and I can drive all the nicest cars. And with that I can start a cocaine farm. And with that I can. And they think if the police don't catch them, which is the game, isn't it? Don't get caught. Why? Look what I can achieve. And we look at this worst example of humanity and we go, oh, look at them. But what about you and I? It is said a theist is one who understands and accepts that Radha Krishna, Bhagawan, your Ishtadev, lives in your heart eternally. Dvasu paramasa yujasa kaya samanam vriksham parikasvajate. The Gita explains Two birds of a beautiful plumage living in the heart region. One is the Paramatma and one is the individual soul. And the Paramatma takes note of what the individual soul is thinking, not doing, thinking. And you get the consequence. There's no such thing as privacy. No such thing. There is no such thing as a free lunch. You cannot think and expect you are exempt from the consequence of your thought, which is graded by adharma or dharma. It's graded by aparadharma and paradharma. You could say dharma and adharma both live within aparadharma, ignorance of self. Ignorance. And paradharma is to understand, oh, not only is my beloved Lord living in my heart region next to my soul, and the soul belongs to the para-atma. Atma, para-atma. Anch, a part of Anch, the whole. Such an understanding. And not only that, you are taught, we are taught paradharma means to recognize that the Divine One lives in the heart wherever the soul is present. In all of the trillions, uncountable life forms, as in Maharaj Ji said, if you took a square meter of earth, not just the surface piece of earth, but earth, square meter, there are billions and trillions of life forms living in that clump of earth. All the different life forms. Atma, can't count. Sankhya Chaitra Samastina Vishwanam Kadachana. Just as you can't count the uncountable specks of dust in eternity in the cosmic shelf, there are uncountable world regions, and populating these uncountable world regions are the Jivatma, the individual soul, who are under the auspices of Maya. And Maya, to be governed by Maya, is to be aparadharma, ignorant of yourself. Our Guruji Maharaj Ji has said, if you get to the point where you 100% accept Bhagawan is living in your heart, and you are always constantly aware of that, then you get God realization with no more effort required. So paradharma is to profoundly understand these things. We don't understand. All of the ills and the agonies of the mind stem from ignorance of the self. And when we hear of paradharma, the ideology of it sounds great, but the practice of it, we're not prepared to do the work. And our Shri Maharaj Ji, he explains how the Vedas were churned by Brahma 3 times and concluded Kirtanam, Shravanam, Smaranam. Our Guru Sudaji said the same thing when the 88,000 Paramahansas approached him and said, in this age of Kali, where people's lifespan is short, look, we talked about 100,000 years of Satyayug. Here, what is our lifespan? Well, are you in a first world country? Are you in the third world country? Do you eat well? Are you exercising? Have you got good sanskars? You might get to 85, 86, 87. A few go beyond. Most are either that, 86 something or other, or less, right down to a stillborn baby. So in other words, our time is short, and these Paramahansas said to Guru Sutaji, our human life is weak, our intelligence is feeble, our memory is incredibly weak. We forget in the twinkling of an eye what we've learned. spiritually? What should we tell people? And he said the same thing, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam. I'll get to that in a minute. And the Jagadguru comes, Shri Kripalu Ji Maharaj. He says exactly the same thing. To hear of God, to sing of the virtues, the leelas, the abode, the names, the saints. But they are helpers of the only one, which is what? Smaranam. To meditate on Hari Guru. And not just little bit, a little bit, a little bit. But actually to take it so seriously, which is what Arjuna was told. You are about to enter into a war. Sharp spears and swords, and arrows, psychic energy and powers. The most terrifying environment you could ever imagine. I've never been there on war. I've only seen it on TV or the social apps. And he is told in this situation, in all times, remember me, do your work for me, love me, merge yourself in me. Mamekam sharanam raja parityaje. Get rid of dharma, all the rights and regulations and morality. It's against my honor and my morality to let the arrow go. Get rid of it. You are of me. You belong to me. You are a divine power, a divine personality, the Jivatma. You are mine. Remember me and do your work. It is not about doing duty. When you go to the office, it's your duty to do boom, 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 and your duty is to do boom, 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 and you can do that duty and never think of God. Action is action. Your thoughts are what matters. Are they might? Well, until you're a God-realized soul, there can't be anything else. But are you following the principles of dharma or the principles of righteousness, or are you following the principles of paradharma? This is so challenging to us, but we forget. Patita Pawan, Kripalu, grace, kindness, acceptance, love, mercy. And so, whilst in Satya Yuga the approach is more complex and complicated, in this age, all we have to do is remember our Radha, our Krishna, our Guru. And to do that, we have to practice. Practice. So many people are theoretically clever. They've used their mind for material science. But imagine there are two surgeons or two people who know about how to operate on the human body to save someone's life. One has got only theory, and never done any practice whatsoever. And the other one's got theory and experience. Who would you go to? You come into a person and you say, he says, well, your liver needs to be blah, 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 blah. I don't know anything about medical science, so that's the blah, blah, blah bit. And he says, well, look, I think it's on page 467. Oh, yes. Okay, lie down. Do you mind? I'm just going to put some marking pen marks on your stomach. Don't worry. Oh yes, a knife, not to be one. I'll just put it in the Bunsen burner on the gas stove cooker. And when it goes red hot, you breathe deeply and I'll cut. Theory? Are you kidding me? So the one who has put into practice, who's gone through all the med school, years and years, and then done an apprenticeship in a hospital and served the other surgeons and learned what it's like to be in the operating theatre and understands and practices. And yet when it comes to the science, the supreme science, I don't want to practice. I'm just waiting for a bolt of lightning to boom. And now I'm a Mahapurush. I would say, no, your brain has been fried. So when Maharaj Ji says it's so easy in this life, Radhe, 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 Roopdhyan, 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 follow the advice of the Guru, do say, or whatever say you are given. If you give it towards Guru, when your heart and mind are open and ready, then he gives you Diksha. That's when you get actual Diksha. That's when you get Swarup Shakti entering the heart. That's when you become illumined and you become the saint, the divine mind, intellect, and so on. Not before. And so you have to practice. You've got to practice. If you want to drive a car, you've got to learn the theory, and then you've got to do the practice, and then you get tested. And once you pass the test, you get a provisional license, and so on and so on. And the Guru does the same thing. Here's the knowledge, and watch this. What are you going to do with it? Nothing. Nothing? You think I'm going to do it all for you? All right, everybody, just sit there. I'm going back into my room, and on behalf of you all, I'm going to go Radhe, Radhe, Radhe. I'll do all of your practice. You just sit there. Oh, there goes the bell. Go and have your lunch. Oh, it's time to have a sleep. Good night, but I'm busy. I'm doing Radhe, Radhe on your behalf. I'm purifying your heart and mind on your behalf. You just chill. Don't do anything. Or, hey, I do 10 minutes meditation a week. How come I'm not advancing? What's wrong with you? Are you a real guru or not? I'm having fun with you, but I think there's a tad of truth in it somehow. So in clarity then, paradharma is to follow the will of the Guru. It is to follow the pathway of bhakti. It is to remember the divine beloveds. It is to consecrate your life and all that you are in favor of the divine. It is to be humble. It is to be devoted. It is to be aware. And that, to get to that point, takes practice. Another word in our parlance for practice is sadhana. Devotion, meditation. There's no shortcut. No matter how smart you are, how clever you are in your field of industry, how eloquently you speak, or how foolishly your tongue can't even say the words properly. Jad Bharat, after living the life of a deer, you know that story, he pretended to be mute. When he got his human form back, he just did not want to risk making the same mistake of attaching himself to anybody or any creature or anything in the material realm. Such an example. Now we get scared when we hear of such draconian behavior. There's no need to be like that. All right. So now I'll come quickly to the second part. Second question. which is kind of related to this I've just been speaking about. How do I know where I am spiritually? Maharaj Ji said, if you want to realize Bhagawan, Krishna, Radha, you've got to get to the point where you can't live without him. Tears are flowing. You're crying out with every breath of your being. Shri Maharaj Ji once said, a true devotee is one who is always calm, always unaffected, and always introverted. Calmness means you are not being caught in the ripples and the great big waves of material desire. You are calm. It doesn't matter what anybody says to you. You're an idiot. Well spotted. I am. You're greedy. It's true. It's true. And you say, I'm not greedy these days. But until you're a saint, if you saw the mountain of sanskars that are yet to visit us, the sanchit karma, the vault of uncountable lifetimes that have not yet had the opportunity to undergo consequence. And this sanchit is made up of a mixture of sattvic, rajas, tamas. We have murdered and we've been priests. We've done everything in between the black and the white, and we have remained in the Mayak realm. And at some point, those karmic consequences are going to visit you. So, where are you spiritually? Are you sitting here? Have you reached that point where you say, guilty? I know that so many of Maharajji's paths. There's one where he said, I am so duplicitous, I am so full of all the dark, I've done everything. I don't know which face I can talk to you with. I don't know what face to show you. For I say one moment, please, I promise I'll never do it again. And the next moment, we're doing it again. And then we get angry with ourselves, we get annoyed. We don't like people insulting us. We want people to respect us. We want to be perceived of being good, being good and not actually good. We just want people to say, that person, you're a good man. No, actually, I'm not really. This person is good. They know how good I am. And if they know how good I am, they must be good. You know where I'm going with this. So are you at a point where you cannot live without Radha Krishna? And if you say, because you can't be, we're all sitting here calmly, but we can't get there just like that either, and that's the point. But that's where we need to be. So if you want to know where you are spiritually, how are you reacting to people's insults? How do you react to their bad behavior? What sort of ambitions do you have? How much time do you spend on remembering Radha Krishna? Have you reached the point where tears flow when you think of him, on her, Radha? Are you in that scenario? And if you say no, that's okay. It's truthful. You're not. So now the next question is, what are you doing about it? What are you doing with your day? How much time you spend all of your, most people anyway, spend all their time feathering their nest, looking after the body and looking after the bodily comforts, looking after the comforts of those who are near and dear because you feel they belong to you and they are yours and your life will be miserable without them. So you are completely in that environment. So what are you doing about it? Do you want to take the road to God realization, or does it just seem all way too hard? I'd rather stay here and suffer. Leave my body, leave everything behind, and see what the next experience is going to be. Oh, hold on. Woof, woof. Why are these people calling me Rex, Rover? Why have I got 4 paws? Why am I chewing a bone? Woof. Where are you going? I don't know where I'm going. Are you concerned about it? Yeah, not really. I feel lucky. Do you feel lucky? Luck, no such thing. Cause and effect. You have pockets of goodness and pockets of badness, and we go, well, I can deal with this. Oh, gosh. Go to India and see people sleeping in the meridians on the most filthy, dirty, smelly highways. Can't get enough food to eat. People with one arm, no arms. People are suffering. Well, I'm not. For how long are you like this? You've got to think about it. You have to think about it. I'm all right, Jack. Jack, actually, I'm not being you, Jack. He's not even listening. I am okay now. That's all that matters, is now. Okay? I'll rest my case. If you think that's fine, carry on. If you want to know where you are spiritually, I've given you a very brief yardstick to measure yourself. Should I panic and run around screaming in horror because you're not so evolved? No. Take a deep breath, be calm, be unaffected about it, and introvert, which means think about it, contemplate about it, resolve about it. The more you hear what our Shri Maharaj Ji says, the more it starts to sink deeper into, I should act. Shouldn't I? Yes, I should. That's what I love about ashramic life. Every morning we see a 12-minute edited talk of Maharaj Ji, and he punches the same points. Be humble, devote, think of God in your heart, do your seva, be positive, think favorably of Hari Guru. Every day we get reminded. I'm so grateful, even though I could probably speak those lectures, I've heard them so many times, but every time I see them, I'm grateful, I'm thankful. That's it. Don't beat yourself up on this. I would hate to think, people jumping off this wooden rail here. This is not about, this is good news. You're learning about parikrama. You've had uncountable lifetimes where you knew nothing about the subject, nothing at all. 99% of the world know nothing about it. They don't know that the mind is the devotee. Be happy on that, be grateful about this. But don't give the grace back to God and say, well, I've had a good 40 years of this, here, you take it back. I'm just going to do my own thing now, as I always have. Be positive, be happy about it, but think about it, make a plan. I'm a thoroughbred speaker. I could just go and go and go, but now I'm getting tired. I can't imagine how you're feeling. So we're going to call it a stop there. I'm going to ask Bhakti to do a kirtan, but use this microphone. Are we all good? Yes. No more talking, enough, don't you think? I didn't. You can see my voice. Okay. Jai Shri Radha Krishna.
karo Shri Radhe Krishna प्यारी प्यारी अम्मा की जय। बोलिए जगतगुरु उत्तम श्री कृपालु महाप्रभु की जय। जय
हमारे प्यारे प्यारे श्री महाराज जी की जय। प्यारी प्यारी अम्मा की जय। प्यारी प्यारी दीदियों की जय।
Radha Radha everyone. Please come forward to take the aarti and take a prasad from Swami.
I just want to just sit for 2 minutes.
That's not true. You're going with you.
Thank you very much, Swamiji, for amazing last few days here in Singapore. As you know, Swamiji is leaving today. So if you want to say the final goodbye to him at the airport, 3:30 is the time, right? 4:30 is the time? Between 3:30 and 4:30. 4:30 and 5. Okay, so that will be the time at the airport if you want to go. Apart from it, this is our regular satsang in Singapore. So every Sunday we gather here at 10:30 to 12:30, same time, same place, where we listen to Maharaj's discourses, we practice meditation, and the sample which you have heard, the blissful kirtans. Maharaj has written n number of kirtans where our mind just indulge in it in autopilot mode. As if you have come yesterday for Swamiji's talk yesterday, and you have listened the the car, how it is running in the second gear. So this is our lab or driving school, you can say, where we will try to change our gears from second to the third. Okay, so please feel free to attend this film moments here every Sunday 10:30. Apart from it, there is a very good collection of books here. Prem Ras Siddhant, definitely the complete one book which contains the complete philosophy. It may answer many questions if you have just by reading that one particular book. So definitely recommend if you haven't read that particular book so far. We also shared yesterday an application called Kripalu Nidhi. So that has 10,000 videos of Shri Maharaj Ji. So definitely suggest to listen to the discourses there in that particular app. There are a subset of videos are also available in YouTube, but generally if you go to the YouTube to listen to Maharaj Ji, maybe after one or two videos we end up into n number of other videos, right? So that's why Kripalu Nidhi is the suggested app where you can browse your time. There is an option to download videos as well. So when you are commuting in the MRTs, you can listen to the videos at that particular time. And in the last, if you want to offer any dakshina to Swamiji, then envelopes are available with Sushma Didi. Sushma Didi, can you please raise your hand? There, please collect the envelopes from there. Digital option is also available if you want to transfer it digitally. So that is optional, but I'm just telling you, there is the option available if you want to offer it. Now please come. Yeah. If you are coming very first time here, then please leave your contact number. You can approach me so that we can inform you such kind of programs which we regularly conduct. Different teachers come to Singapore. We can inform you proactively about the schedules and the programs. So if you haven't given your contact number yet, please give us the contact number. Now I may request you to come forward and take prasad from Swamiji. So it's Terminal 3, 4:30 p.m. This time, hopefully, I'm Jai Shri Radha. Please come forward to take submission. Thank you.